How's everybody? Welcome to Gaming and Still Life. Today I have part 2 of my showdown between the Odyssey and Samsung Odyssey and the Oculus Rift. And I'm going to give you a little bit of my thoughts. I'm going to give you a little bit of background and tell you what's going on. First thing I want to say is, how come nobody's done a teardown video for the Samsung Odyssey? If anybody knows of one, please let me know. Another thing, my birthday is coming up on January 31st, and I want to do something special with you guys. So I want to be able to get something and give it out as a gift. So if anybody knows of any ideas on how to make it fair for everybody in different time zones, and what I did last time is I just had an extra key from the developer that gave it to me, but I already bought the game, so I decided to give it to you guys. So if anybody can come up with something, put it in the comments and let me know. Alright, first thing I want to do is, I got my Samsung November 9th, and I ordered it for $500. Okay, it was 2 days after the last pre-order was done. Pre-order was November 7th. I didn't get it towards maybe the 20th, 23rd, around there is when I physically got it. So I've had it for a little while, and I've been able to, the things that I like about it, the things that I don't like about it. One of the things that I really enjoy is the resolution, of course. Everybody knows about the resolution. Vibe Pro is coming out at some point this year, and it's going to have basically the same screen that I have in this right now. So I think that's kind of neat. We get it first. As far as the Rift, this is something that I just recently got, and I did get the touch controllers, and those cost me, I think, $120 to get them express delivered within a few days, so I can be able to do this video for you guys. So far, I think I have $150, so maybe $270 invested in this. Plus, I had to order another sensor, because 2 sensors is really not enough. You want to have full room scale. And now you're talking a lot, because this right here comes with 2 of these guys, HDMI and USB 3. Okay? Now, the Odyssey has the same exact thing, right? But with my Odyssey, that's all I need to get room scale. Now, granted, it's kind of a pain, especially if you have both, to have one and you got to unhook the Oculus. And it seems like when I do that and I unhook the Oculus and I go back to the Odyssey, I have to reset my boundaries or stuff like that, because yesterday I had some problems where I was playing for Mother Sons and it was really flickery. And I think it was either because of that or my lighting in my room wasn't as best as could be. And sometimes when you do set up your boundaries on your Odyssey, it recognizes things in the room, and if you do it again in a different location, or if you move stuff around, it's not going to recognize it very well, and you're going to have problems with tracking. So that's one thing you're going to have to look out for. So the ability to do room scale with just 2 plugs, that is awesome. That right there is a big selling point, because with my Rift, in order to get it right, I'm going to have to use up 4 USB ports and an HDMI. Okay? And not only that, to get it the way I want, I had to order these little things that go up and they screw into your wall so I can hang them up in my room. In order to get it right, so I can point all 3 sensors to my room area so I can get what I already get with the Odyssey. Okay? The build is very well made. I got this thing on several occasions drenched in sweat from all the lights and from playing 4, 5, 6 hours on this thing. And I will tell you what, I don't like, that's why I was asking if anybody has seen a teardown video, because I want to know what's the safest way to be able to replace this padding. If you feel in it, like after a while, like a worn mattress, like you can feel like the plastic in here, and it does dig into your brain, and just after a while, this thing starts feeling like a weight. That's one of the minuses I don't like about it. But if they could just maybe like put something over this, like a gel silicone thing in between, and it wouldn't change. See, this is the other problem. The more things that you start adding to this right here, the more this is going to affect. Because if you look at this, with the Rift, the headphones, they have like just that much. I don't know, the placement of them, it feels like I can really like get them even below my ear if I want. You know, it just has so much more travel than these. Like, if you look at them, it looks like it's almost just about, but if they would have put this nub a little bit lower, I mean, if it was just this much lower, it would have made so much difference, because the higher you put this band on the back of your head, the closer this will be flush to my face. Okay, I love it because I can't see anything. Now, with the Rift, it's much more lighter, but when I put glasses on, it really does feel like it's pushing in. Like right here, I could feel it like the mask, and I see a lot of a light bleed through the bottom. Now, I am ordering through VR Labs the implant, the little lenses that you can get on my prescription. So I think once I get that, that's going to be cool. But now it's not going to be a $270 Rift. Now you're talking about $370 Rift, plus the mounts and the cable. That's another $30. So that's $400 right there. And then the extra sensor, did I add that in yet? That's another $100. And then the lenses is $100. And just everything, when you start adding it all together. And one thing that really shocked me is yesterday when I was playing for Mother Sons and I'm looking with this, I can't see the writing. I had to squint to see the writing. So I had to put my glasses on. Now, one of the problems, and it happens with my Odyssey, but it doesn't seem like when you first put it on and it's warming up, it seems like it's like you take them off and your glasses are drenched. It keeps fogging and fogging. And with this, it kept doing it and doing it and doing it so bad that I had to just, you know what, I quit taping that night and I was like, you know what, I'm going to have to wait. And it does that with this, but maybe I only have to do 2 to 3 wipes on it. Then it will stop doing it once it warms up. So those are just some little things, you know. So if you're on the fence about getting one, I think that was important that I try to get this video as soon as possible. But I haven't fully completed my testing. Now, there's a lot more accessories available for this, and there's a lot of things that I do like about this headset. One of the things that I mainly got it for, and I think that's one of the next games that I'm going to play, would be Lone Echo. And that's one of the games that when I played it with the Samsung Odyssey, I was not able to do. In order to turn the flashlight on in your helmet, you had to do the finger motion and act like you're pressing a button on your helmet, and it will turn the flashlight on. I tell you, I was there going like this, like this, like this, and it just would not know that I was doing this motion, because when you're getting to the point of here with these cameras, it doesn't see what you're doing over here. So it's losing tracking. Now, when it loses tracking, it still knows that your controller is going like this, right? But it doesn't know that you're making this movement right here. So a lot of the Oculus games do have little things like that you don't even realize it, or the programmers of the game didn't even think about it because they never thought of inside-out tracking. I haven't been able to test it with Onward. I cannot, for the life of me, when I'm playing Onward, bring the gun too close to me, or else it stays in a position and I can only turn it like this, but I can't move it in or away. So for using scopes, it's very difficult with the Odyssey. Okay? Is that a deal breaker? I don't know. You have to decide. Okay? You have to really decide. It comes down in the very end whether you want resolution and clarity, okay, or you want superior tracking. And it's not even really superior tracking, because I can't say that, because I've had the biggest problems with my two sensors so far, and I have them on my desk, and now I have all these extra cables on my desk. So now I have to worry about moving this, hooking this up, unhooking this. So a sensor might get moved just a little bit, you know. Like I looked at a sensor and I'm like, man, that's not right. So I straightened it a little bit. So what happened when I started the game up, instead of my hands being like this, one of my hands was like this. Alright, so no matter what I would do, like the hand would be, instead of being like here, it would be here. It was off because I just moved that sensor. So I try to move it back. Oh man, I just messed it all up. So now I'm having to go through the whole sensor thing again. But that's just like with the Odyssey. If I start moving some furniture around, it starts not really knowing where it's at. So, you know, it's damned if you are, damned if you're not, you know, but it's these little things that you don't even know until you actually own that headset and you're able to experience it. I have to say that when I first heard about these, I've only seen them in pictures, okay, and I've only seen people using them. And when you're seeing people using them, it's one thing. When you actually have them in your hand, I always thought that they had, like they were different. I always thought that when you were, like the palm right here on the back, there was something that when you were to grip. That's how I never thought that the grip button was actually physically on basically your middle finger. That is the grip. And it's very easy, okay, to open your hand up, and the controller doesn't fly off your hand because it has that loop, I mean, to a certain point. So it's just when you just grip these three fingers is when the grip is on, or you can let go, okay? But it's not a perfect thing. I mean, because it's really hard when you're trying to throw something and you open your hand up for it not to get really crazy on you. So it is some getting used to having to throw like that, unless you just throw with the trigger. Okay, so it's different than what I imagined them to be. They're almost, if Samsung would have just put a grip button on their controller that was more like this, it would have been so much easier to replicate with this controller, okay, with a button that was more raised, you know, that was more sensitive. It wasn't so clicky. It was more on whether you push down or not. I think you could get that throwing motion with a button like that a lot easier. A simple little tweak like that could make it so much easier for you to be able to play with this system on Oculus Rift. So, but then you come up with, like, there's other problems, because on this, the hand is mapped, the ring is much closer to where your fist is at. When you try to translate that to using this, the ring is so much higher than where your knuckles are at. So maybe that plays into it. I don't know. So that's something that's on developer level. And sentences, if you are wondering, another thing that I noticed, and I had to like really get this out, is the extension. Okay, if I have both right here, and I extend the cabling, okay, alright, the difference in length is only a little bit longer for the Oculus. So when I have my computer turned all the way like towards the wall, and I'm out here in my own space, and my computer's over there about 5 foot away from me. The cable is not even, it's almost hanging. So I had to use the same extension cables that came with my, that I had to buy extra with my Odyssey. So the cable length is still a problem on both systems. So you're going to have to buy extenders. Either way, I had to buy extenders for my sensors. I haven't got that in. So once I get that set up, that's it. But you know what? I'm not going to be able to take my Rift anywhere. Just like I will be able to take this. When I had my other laptop, the Dell 7567, I could hook it up to that and it would work. So my new laptop that I got, which should be here close to my birthday, which my birthday is January 31st, my new laptop is a 7577, and it's got the better screen on it, and it's got 1060 Qmax in it, so it will be able to even play my Rift. But I only will be able to play the Rift with maybe 1 or 2 sensors, I think, and then all my USB ports are full. It does have a Thunderbolt cable, so maybe that will help. But it's so many wires, and basically my Rift is going to be chained to my computer here, and in the occasion one out of every million time that I do take my Samsung out of here, I will be able to, or you know, without having to reinstall a whole bunch of software on somebody else's computer. So it is possible to travel with the Samsung a lot easier. Now, I have noticed one more thing. I am able to turn up the settings on my Oculus. I can have better super sampling. I can have higher settings because the screen's resolution is only 1080. So I believe it's 1080 or something like that, or maybe 1200 is what it is. So I am able to use higher settings. Now when I go and I switch it back to the Odyssey, I have to turn those settings down because it's just too much for my GTX 1070 Ti. So those are other things that I have to think about because you just having one headset. So it's give or take. There's not 100% solution. I am glad with my Samsung Odyssey purchase, and I'm also very glad with my Oculus Rift purchase. I think that for me, I will be able to do more stuff and show you comparison videos. No matter which one you choose, you're going to be happy. Really, in the long run. How much they're going to cost? They're going to cost about the same. Really. You're going to have pluses and minuses on one end, pluses and minuses on the other. So it's very hard to choose a winner. But I think that if I had to pick one, I think, especially with my laptop coming in, even though I only use it for recording, I think I would go out and get that $200 Lenovo or one of those mixed reality, because those have a less of a 1400, have less of a, just a little bit better resolution and stuff like that, and I would go get one of those than the Odyssey. Now, if I had to pick number 2, is I would get the Odyssey just because it has that much better screen. It really does. And everything looks better. But you need a higher end computer to really push it. Okay? If I don't have that high end computer, but I have just enough, and I want, especially if I want the Oculus games that are offered, and some of the cool Oculus games that are going to get offered in the future, then I would get a Rift. So if I got a Rift, and that was my first VR headset, and that's all I had, I would be super happy. It's a great system. It really is. It controls really good. Are they what I thought they were going to be? No. I had expectations way higher than I thought they were going to be. You know, but are they pretty good? Yeah. They're like an 8 out of 10. The Samsung controllers might be a 7.5. You know, 7 out of 10. So there's not that big of a difference. It really isn't. And if you have the Samsung Odyssey controllers, you better make sure you get rechargeable batteries, because it's going to eat through 4 AA batteries like that, especially if you play a lot. So, and from what I've heard on the touch controllers is they can go with 1 battery forever. The build construction is better, way better on the touch controllers than they are on the Odyssey controllers. The Odyssey controllers, they feel kind of cheap, where you can kind of like squeeze and it feels like almost the battery cap could slip off. I didn't like that about them. If they could just improve the padding a little bit and give this extension a little bit more extension, then this would probably be a 9 out of 10. It really would be. And if they can get it a little bit lighter, that's even better. But that is my second review of the $470 Rift and the really $450 Samsung Odyssey, because I got a special on it when they went down $50. I made sure I called and I got it. But for right now, I'm giving it to the Odyssey. Now let me wait till I get my other sensors and I can get them in the wall, and when that becomes more of a $500 product to a $500 product, and I get my lenses in for my Oculus Rift. But let me wait till that happens, and then maybe I'm going to have a third one for sure on what I think of the differences between the Samsung Odyssey and the Oculus Rift. And I will be doing more games if you guys wish on the comparison, and I will be giving you what I think about it. So if you like this video, please give me a like. I am trying to get some likes for my channel. I want eventually to get 1,000 subscribers and reach that point. I'm quickly going up to 300, and that's great. I never thought I'd even be that high. And so if you want to continue seeing more videos on the comparisons, more between Oculus and Samsung, and then subscribe. All right? You guys have a great night. Thank you.